It is another episode of Say It Loud Podcast with your girl here, Karen L. And today in my hot seat is Schneidine, the Millennial Mom Money Magnet. That's like so much going on in that title, but I love it. I love millennial. I love mom. I love money. And you know I'm all about the universe. So the magnet is a whole big thing. She is a financial coach, keynote speaker, CEO, and she is here today to talk to us about obviously money and all the stuff our parents didn't teach us. She's gonna check in with us and make sure we're okay. So how are you today?
Girl, I am great and winning with God. Thank you so much for having me here
Of
today.
course. I'm so glad that you're here. So we worked together a couple months ago and we actually met and you came in to talk to couples about money. And I thought it was so valuable because there's so many people that just don't know enough or not in
Mhm.
spaces to learn. So let's start from the beginning. How did you start this work?
Okay, well, I started this work because first off, I have to be very transparent. It's not how you start, but it's where you finish.
Right.
I went to college, and when I went to college, I was approved for my first credit card. So when
Hmm.
I got my first credit card, I was using it, going back and forth, paying it off. I got a credit card with $1,000 limit. I was
Hmm.
paying it off just fine. And then I came to a point where I lost my job and I couldn't pay it anymore. And then I ended up getting into debt. Once my card, I went delinquent, I was not able to get approved for anything else. And I learned the value of credit at that time. It
Hmm.
it stayed on my credit for 7 years, and after 7 years, I was able to not only help myself clear up my credit, but I started helping other friends do theirs too. And with
Wow.
that, it started developing, and I continued opening up my eyes more with money and how credit is used to your benefit. So that's how it started off.
Wow. So you kind of learned that on your own.
Yeah, I did. Self taught.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like that makes for good a teacher, right? Because it's not like you're
Absolutely.
learning from someone else. This is from actual experience.
Yes.
So let's talk about that because a lot of families don't have those conversations with their children,
Right.
right?
Yeah, they
And
don't.
don't prepare their child for going away to college and the credit card offers are going to start coming, right? Or you're on the
Mhm.
college campus and they have the credit cards right there for you. So how do parents deal with that?
Well, I know for sure in the Black communities, they were not talking about money when I was growing up, right?
They're not
But
talking about money
I
either.
used to see how my parents behave and talked about money, and I said to myself, when I have my own kids, there are certain things that, or certain words that they would not hear come out of my
Right,
mouth, like we don't have, because we
right,
don't operate in lack. I never
right,
operate in lack. Even if I didn't have it, I would never let my children know I didn't have it.
right,
It's I let's prepare to have this at another time. You
right.
understand me? So when
Yeah,
I was growing up, I would hear conversations like, we couldn't afford that. Like,
right,
oh, why would you
right.
say that? Why couldn't we
Mhm.
afford that? I say I could afford anything. The
Right,
price is right. The price is perfect. And I
right,
want it and I want it right now. And that's what I say to my children. I have two girls. And the way that I speak life into them when it comes to money and finance, they
mhm,
think that we are so rich, which we are. We live in luxury apartments and we have
mhm.
everything catered to us. But guess what? I had to work my tail off in order to get here. But
Right.
growing up, I grew up in the hood.
Yeah,
When I first came here from America, I came from a country named Haiti. I came
right,
here when I was a 6 year old, but my family was here in Stamford, Connecticut, in the ghetto. And once
right,
I had to learn to speak English and all. And when my parents were speaking about money, it made them cringe. So they had to
right.
figure things out because we just came from a third world country.
Mhm.
So, with experience after experience with my parents, I just learned another kind of language of
Right.
speaking about money.
I think that's so important because I grew up in a similar situation where it's kind of like at a deficit. We talk about money as a deficit, and I do believe that people have relationships with money,
Mhm.
and their relationship with money has a lot to do with what they learned as a child if they don't consciously make a decision to change it.
Absolutely. And the funny thing about that, Karen L,
Yes.
is that you have to be cautious when you're talking about money because kids, they catch everything just like a sponge. And it's not what is said, but it's also how you say it. Oh, I don't
Right.
have the money, or I have the money. They will always hear how you interpret money because money goals make life goals happen. If you
Right.
have more money, you're able to have more options and more flexibility with your lifestyle.
Yeah, I love that. So, how do parents have these conversations with their kids, especially
I
the
think
teenagers going to college?
Oh, yeah. I think the easiest way that parents could talk to their kids, first of all, they're your kids. So you know how to talk to your kids when you want them to do something or when you really want them to listen. So when parents are talking to kids or kids that are about to go to college, you just say, hey, in America, you have to be responsible because when you're going out there, they're going to want you to get into credit card debt. That way, you're not able to get out of it because you
Right.
have to remember this credit is created to keep us in debt. You're always constantly borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And that's what the credit companies like because they want you to stay at their mercy with those APR rates, right? And guess
Yeah.
what? Those APR rates can actually be negotiated after
Right.
6 months or up to 2 years if you have good standing with your credit card company. That's what a lot of people they never call to say, hey, I want to renegotiate these rates. So one tip I want to say to the parents when they're sending their kids off to college, have a real conversation and say, hey, it's a hard world out there. And
Right.
of course, a lot of ways you could get into debt, but you must be responsible. Um,
Right.
you can use a credit card, but you have to be responsible. The best thing I can also say with that is paying your credit card early, even before the due date. And even before the due date, pay a little bit more than the minimal that they are asking you to. And another thing I can say too, in regards to parents sending their kids off to college, like college readiness, is really prepare them with their goals, meaning, hey, you're going to school to get an education. You're not going to school to blow off this scholarship, one. Two, you're
Mhm.
not going to blow off our money because my parents, they paid cash for my school. And
I was
thank
going
God
to talk
I
about that next. We'll
graduated.
talk about that next.
Okay, yes. And kids go to college and they just want to party all the time. Yes, there's a time and place for everything. But when there's big dollars on the line,
At
where you
stake.
have to make your parents proud and yourself proud, because first it starts with you and then
Hmm.
your parents. And the
Hmm.
third is whoever's giving you that scholarship to go to college. But you must be responsible. And most ladies, let's talk about the ladies now, when they go to college, they're derailed. And when they
Mm.
are derailed, they end up getting pregnant and not
Right.
finishing their college because now
Right.
they got a baby to take care of. And guess what? That baby is putting you in debt when you're 19, 20, 21,
Right.
22, right?
Yeah.
And then guess
Can't
what? You
afford. Yeah,
did
you
you
can't afford it.
they can't afford it. And with them not being able to afford it, they now have to go into the government assistance programs.
Right. Right. Which
It's
I
a lot.
feel kind of hold people still too. They hold you hostage too because it's like you can't there's no way. I feel like when people get in there, it's
It's
hard to get out.
restrictions.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
hard to
it's
get.
hard
It's
to
almost like
get
a
out.
noose around your neck because you can't really
Yes,
do too much, right? You can
right.
never really kind of grow out of it, or it's either in or out. There's no in between, and so it's a hard place to be. And then people get complacent with it as well.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah, they. Well, I know with a lot of examples that I've seen in my day, They say that once you're in the system, it is hard to get out because they do get comfortable with government assistance, with SNAP, with Husky, and all that. At the same time, if you're working, then
Mhm.
you can get out of that
Right,
situation. But
right.
it's all about
Well,
a mindset too.
yeah, for sure. Let's talk about college though, because
Yeah.
I do know there's a generation of parents that don't know how to prepare or how to get involved when it comes to sending their kids in college. Now, you know me as an educator, I've actually had kids tell me flat out, I'm not going to college. And I was like, why not? And he said to me, my mom just can't afford to send me. And I was like, how do
See?
you know that?
Right,
How do you
right.
know that? So how do you think parents can prepare better to send their kids to college financially? Like, how can they prepare financially?
Well, I know this, the true college readiness requires both academic and real world skills. First of all, the kids, they got to learn, can they be a team player? Can they be responsible? Do they know how to balance a paycheck when they get their check? Do they know about savings and budgeting? If they don't know the basics of money, adding and then multiplying, then they're going to be in a hole. So I would always suggest to parents, make sure that your kids that you're sending away to college know the bare minimums of balancing a checkbook, knowing how to save and structuring their checkbooks, and knowing how to do that balance sheet. Hey, if I am required to have this amount for food and then this amount to pay for room and board, or a college campus, or a off campus room that I rent, or a room that I rent, they got to know how to balance that out, because if they don't, then they're going to be calling the parents and saying, Mom and Dad, I need you to send me $500. I
Yeah,
can't pay my rent this month. I need you to help me out again. And after 3, 4, 5 months, it becomes annoying to parents. That's
right.
one.
But you're like, what did you do with the money I gave you? What did you
Yeah.
do with the money I gave you? But I
Yeah.
really want to ask, like, I know a lot of student loans get taken out. I know a lot of
Yes.
parents have to pay cash. I know a lot of parents who have taken like a loan against their home. How can
Absolutely.
parents,
As collateral.
yeah, as collateral so that they can send their kids to college? And um, I think it's great that a parent is willing to do it, but I'm also like, well, what other schools could we go to where it's not going to cost you that, where you're not taking that kind of risk? Because I don't feel like education should be that expensive. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that. And college shouldn't be expensive, especially with students now after graduating college. First of all, it's hard for them to even get in. They got to
Mm,
prepare college readiness with preparing for their SATs or the other tests that they take in order to go to college. And once they're finally accepted, they got to go through rigorous programs and courses to graduate. Now, when it's time for them to graduate, what kind of jobs are they getting post graduation? Now, real life, they don't even want to pay college graduates no more than 35 or 40,000, and then they already spent over 100K with a 4-year degree. Most of them
mhm,
require a 4-year degree, but guess what? Some go to in-state colleges where it's a 2-year associate's degree, where they could get a 60K job doing
right,
something in an executive position, for example. But if they went to a 4-year college and they got their BA, most of the jobs in the real world now, they don't even want to pay them
right,
40K to enter. Now, you
right,
can get a better job with that if you negotiate properly. But if you don't, then you're stuck. So
yeah,
now a lot of kids are preferring not to go to college. They would prefer to go straight to a trade school. And guess what's happening now? Google, the company, is actually trading a 4-year college for a certificate for corporate America, right?
right.
Excuse me 1 second. I feel like I had to grab a water for a second.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. I think I'm okay now. Excuse me. I hope you
So
can.
let's go to the next question. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
So yeah, so they get this job, they come out of college, they get this job, but this
Yeah.
job cannot
afford
pay
them.
for the college or for their expenses.
Hmm.
So
Oh, I'm sorry.
how do they deal
I
with
didn't
that?
finish answering the question before.
Yeah, how do parents prepare?
How do parents prepare? Some parents should prepare by creating and enrolling in a 529 plan, which is something that helps families so they could prepare for college and they could actually continue investing in the 529 plan, and they
Mhm.
could register to get to the 529 plan by going into any of their financial institutions where they put their children's name and they become a beneficiary of the money, of the funds from that, where they can use that for the 4 years and withdraw money. That way they're not going broke because it's money
Yeah,
that's already been invested for them. And you could even go to all the financial institutions or Vanguard, something like that. But I never recommend parents taking out a loan to
mm,
fund children's schooling because
right.
sometimes they could never get that back, or their credit is affected because they're not able to pay it back. So I never recommend that for parents.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's a good conversation to lead into generational wealth,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
how does because I feel like in the Black and brown community, that's something that we need to talk about. Like, how are we looking for ways to create
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth? Not just, I bought jewelry and clothes and things that depreciate, but
Right.
how do I set up my life and my children's life and my grandkids' life and my great grandkids' life so that, we are in a better situation. So what would you tell someone who asks you that?
There are so many ways now that we could create generational wealth. Why? Because information is literally at our fingertips. So, right now, I have been teaching people the best ways to do that is by investing. And how do you invest? You invest in many different ways. One, ETF investing. Two,
Mhm.
real estate, retail in some other ways, but real estate by investing in multifamily homes, renting them out. So every single month, when is the first, you are collecting checks from your tenants.
Right,
Three,
passive
air,
income.
oh, those are juicy.
Yeah.
Three, Airbnbs. People are now doing a whole lot of Airbnbs and they don't even have to be a property manager for those locations. They are doing it virtually.
Mhm.
There's so many ways now people are generating generational wealth. Four, if you're doing ETF stock investing, you could make money there. People are into crypto. It's not
Right.
my personal favorite, but you could make money off of crypto. People are making money off of Bitcoin. People are
Yeah.
making money off of AI. People are
Right.
making money in
NFTs. Yeah.
so many different ways. People are making money now with being micro influencers.
Right.
People are making money now by being content creators. You're
So
constantly
it's literally at your fingertips.
It really is. So these are many ways that now people are investing. And when you are investing, it's not like just the traditional, oh, I have a job, I'm going to invest in Roth or the IRA, 401ks and all that. But there are so many other ways now people are investing. So those are some
Mhm.
samples I would like to leave with you guys.
I love that. I love that because I feel like people need to know that and need to have those conversations and understand that that is how we're going to grow yourself and the next generation of
Hmm.
people, and kind of really want to, as a people, get out of this financial kind of like, stagnant kind of negative energy and kind of put it in a place where we have more leverage and we're taking more control of what's happening to us when it comes
Well,
to our
let's talk about that
finances.
too, because this started a long time ago. Back in the day, of course, we came into this country poor, right, as slaves. But in the early 1900s, like
CJ
Madam
Walker.
C.J. Walker, she was the
Yeah.
first Black millionaire,
Mhm.
self-made. that paved the way for all of us, right?
Right.
We saw her as an example. Oh, she can do it, then we can do it. And now what's happening in America? Women are taking ownership of everything. Women are out here making money, and
Yeah.
which intimidates some men, right?
Yes.
Because now it's saying that women have that masculine energy. Oh, I don't need a man. I'm independent. But let me tell you something, ladies. No matter how independent we are, no matter how much of a boss babe we are, we still need a man. And men, they
Right.
want us to be more feminine, to take a seat back, be a little bit submissive. I've heard that even for myself, like,
Yeah.
you're a little too, but guess what? I like to get what I want.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
that's
I don't
masculine
feel like
energy, then
women.
that's what it is.
Yeah, but I don't feel like women who run businesses and are CEOs and, make 1 million or 5 million or $10 million means that they don't want a partner or that they're
Mhm.
not feminine. Like I can make $1 million right now and still come home and be like, I'm gonna polish my toes and babe rub my back. I don't think
Yes.
I think society tells us that the money defines who we are, but I don't stop
Mhm.
being a mother. I won't
Right.
stop. If I was a millionaire, it doesn't stop me from raising my children. It doesn't stop me from being a mom. It doesn't stop me from being a daughter. It doesn't stop me from being a wife and wanting an intimate relationship with my husband. It just allows me to have the things that I want and run a business and do the things that everybody else does. It's just American society is like men do this and women do this. And because, we didn't work till later and make money till
Mhm.
later and still get paid less than men, it's just kind of like
Okay.
when a woman's in that position, like now, if you're a powerful woman, it means that you're masculine. But I don't feel just being powerful makes you masculine. I feel like being powerful makes you powerful. You know what I
Dang.
mean? Like there's a lot of feminine, beautiful women that go home and cook dinner. They just make a lot of money. There's, you
That's
know,
right.
and that's
That's right.
okay. But let's talk
I
about
love
it, the relationships with money, because I really wanted you to come on and talk to people about being in a relationship, because I was telling you behind the scenes that I was married for a long time and it didn't work. And in that
Mhm.
relationship, I was the breadwinner, and it was kind of like really hard to navigate that space as a woman and
Mhm.
as a man. And I don't know, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know a pretty high percentage of divorce that happens in the United States is because of
Mhm.
money.
Right.
And
Right now
so
it's up. It's right now it's up at 65%
so
because it is money.
65% of divorce
Yeah,
right
money is
now,
the number one factor of the.
money is the number one factor. So
Yes.
how do we, let's look at this and dissect this and unpack it. Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like there's things that we need to talk about before we get married so that we could prevent the divorce.
Yes. Okay. So before, that is the question before, when you're dating somebody, when you're starting to know them, when is it appropriate to start talking about money? Immediately. We're not wasting time, because when you're dating a man or you're dating a woman, you can tell pretty much where they stand financially, because you could look at their car, you could see their house, you could see how they operate with money, and then you ask the questions. When you're dating, that period, you got to ask 1,000 questions.
That's what it's for. That's what
That's
it's
what
for.
it's for, and that's the courting time. You got to ask them, where do you work? When do you get paid? What's your tax bracket? People are
Mhm.
scared to ask these questions. What's your credit score like? Can I see your credit score?
Right.
How much money do you make bi-weekly or monthly? Do you have any extra goals? Do you have any side hustles that you want to acquire while we're in this dating time? What do you need my help with? How can we grow together? Where do you see me and you in about 2 years? People are scared to
Right.
ask these questions. And when it comes to the money aspect in the relationship, you gotta really ask, hey, have you ever defaulted on any credit cards? That's an
Mhm.
important question, because if he's defaulting, then you're like, okay, are you really responsible with money? You got to
Right.
ask them about their bank relationship with their banks. How many times have you overdraft? Have you gone into the red? You got to ask these questions now. And you got to also ask proof. Can I take a look at your bank statements to see
Right.
where you need help with? People are not thinking about this stuff, but
No,
this
they're
is
not.
stuff
And then they
they're
get
not.
married and they're like, this is not working.
It's
And it's
not
like,
working. But why isn't it working? What kind of routines did you guys set before? Did you guys
that's
have
an
separate
important
bank
one.
accounts?
Like, who's gonna take care of this? Who's gonna take it? How are we gonna do that? Are we gonna get joint
Yes,
bank account? Are we gonna have separate
exactly.
bank accounts? Are we gonna get joint credit cards? Are we gonna have separate credit? Who's gonna pay this bill? Who's gonna be in charge? Is the wife gonna be in
Ex-
charge? Or the husband's gonna be in charge? Am I giving you my money? Because I know some couples where they're like, I don't want to give you my money. And it's like, well, we
Correct.
gotta pay the bills. Right. And then
Yes.
there's other couples where it's like, okay, what do you need? I give you that and you take care of
Mhm.
everything. So
That's right.
what are some ways couples can navigate that?
I love that because I do babe, let's do a money check-in really quick. I could do it on the first and then we reestablish and do another meeting by the 15th. It doesn't have to be super long, babe. I need 5 minutes of your time. Let's do a money check-in really quick. We gotta pay this X, Y, and Z this month. And how we looking? Here's what I have grossed. Here's what you have grossed. What extra do we have in surplus? Can we do entertainment with this? Are we going on vacation with that? Here's the plan for the children with this. This is what I need for my pampering time. Yes, sir. I need my pampering time. Okay.
Yeah.
And same for him. These are the kinds of conversations we need to talk about. And then on the 15th, you do the same thing again. And it could be 5, 10, or 15 minutes. It should not be more than 15 minutes to do a money conversation because that's
Right.
your mate. You guys
Yeah.
know what bills you have to pay every single month. If
Right.
something extra pops up, such as, babe, we have a family event to go to. There's a wedding shower we got to go to, a baby
Right.
shower,
Car needs
somebody's
this. Yeah.
birthday dinner. Oh, are we going to go to a group dinner or we're not going to go to a group dinner? You know
Right.
what I mean? And one thing about me that I do not like is when people are getting together and they're trying to be mathematicians at the table doing
Right.
those group dinners. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, no, no,
Just put your
no.
card in.
I
Just
can't
put your
do
card
any
in.
of
What
that.
you worry
It
about?
just looks so tacky to me. I don't like it. And that's
Yeah.
why if it's anyone that's invited me to birthday group dinners, it's either I'm gonna cover it at the dinner table or someone or everyone's gonna prepay because we're not trying to do math because
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't add up at the table,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's just an icky thing. Oh, what did you order? What did you order?
Yeah. I haven't done that in years. Usually I just go out and whatever it is, we just split it, how many ways we split it, and
Yeah.
that's
So
it.
that's
But
how I
not
do it.
everyone can
The
afford to do that.
check-ins. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
I think that's the difference. Some
Yeah.
people cannot afford to do that. So they're like, nope, I only ordered French fries and my bill is
Mhm.
$3.99. So I'm only gonna pay this $3.99. And you know, that's where that comes from.
Uh-huh.
So how else can couples kind of prepare themselves in relationships to be financially successful?
They got to talk about their goals together. Hey, babe,
Mhm.
I plan in the next year to buy a house. I plan for us to get engaged. I plan for us to get married. How are we navigating that? How much money are you putting to the table? Every time you get paid, how much money are we putting away? And you have to have a list. People have to work with lists. People can't work with numbers in the air. It just doesn't happen,
Right.
right? But
Right.
you
But
have to either
concrete
write it down.
commitments
Yeah, you have
to
to either
whatever
write it
it is
down.
that you're gonna do.
Yes. You have to either write it down on a pen with a pen or a pad or type it in your computer on your cell phone, send it to each other and say, "Hey, are these numbers matching yours? Because this is what I have." If you have plans to grow together, it's
Right.
very important that you guys establish a healthy financial relationship beforehand, before you get engaged, before you say I do. And you have to really structure your bank accounts. Hey, babe, I have my bank account. You have your bank account. We have another account together for the household, for the children, for the savings, for the insurance, whatever it is. Everything is in one account. But some people are like, oh, I have my wife. She doesn't see my bank account. Why doesn't she see your bank account? What's your
Right.
secret? What are you withholding from your wife?
Right.
It
Right.
could be the same for a wife. I don't let my husband see my bank account or my bank statement. What does he need to see that for? That's none of his business. But guess what? It's
It
everybody's
is.
business in the household,
Yeah,
right?
for
Because
sure.
some
For
men
sure.
are out there doing dirty deeds and their wives are not knowing. But let me tell you something, that bank statement will tell you what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
Look
just
out.
plain out mismanagement. Like, okay, you're
Mhm.
mismanaging your money and it's costing me money, right?
Absolutely.
So that's
Yes.
a problem too. It's kind of
And
almost like it's
and
not
it
cheating, but it's like cheating with your money.
with the money, yes. And also the same thing when it comes to around tax time, because we are now in tax season. Some people are going to be fighting when it comes to taxes.
Mhm.
Why? Because some people make more money, some people make less money. Some men have to pay child support from a
Right.
previous relationship,
Right.
and it affects the current relationship. So we got to talk about all of that when you are in a relationship,
Yeah.
because everything affects.
What are some red flags in a relationship when it comes to money?
Oh,
Like, what am
I
I
think.
looking I'm dating a guy, and
Uh-huh.
I wanna know what the red flags are. Because for me, I can tell you one red flag I have. If I go out with a guy and he doesn't have a wallet, like an actual
Mhm.
wallet, or if I go out with a guy and he has a wallet, but it's like packed with jam-packed with a whole bunch of receipts and papers and junk, and it's just
Mhm.
disorganized, it's a turn off for me. And I know I'm petty, but it's a turn off for me because I feel like if you don't got your wallet in order, that's just my honest opinion. If you don't got your wallet in order, like with your important cards and your driver's license and your debit card and your credit card, then you probably don't got nothing else in order.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I those are funny ones, by the way.
Yeah,
Well,
and if you have a wallet and it's or you don't have a wallet, it's like, how are you a grown ass man with no wallet?
mhm.
My
Well,
son
yeah,
is
that's
13. I
true.
bought him a wallet a year ago, and I put his debit card in it. I put an ID in it. I put a tile in it so I know where he is. And then he has cash in it because in case of emergency, he always has cash on him.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Those
So
are
if
good
you're
ones.
and he's 13 now. He's 13. So he has
Uh,
money like wherever he is, he can get home somehow. He either has his debit card or there's a little bit of cash in there. He can take a cab to somewhere. But if
mhm.
you're a grown man and you
Mhm.
don't have a credit card, a debit card, a bank account, a wallet, then like, bruh, you shouldn't be dating nobody.
Yeah, I remember in my dating days, there was this guy, he only had debit or cash. And I said, how come you don't have any credit cards? And he said to me, he has bad credit. He was not
Mhm.
able to have a credit card. So anytime we would go out, he would only pay cash because one, he wouldn't want his card to be declined
Right.
at the table. Or and I think for me, like if a man doesn't have a credit card, that is a red flag for me because it's showing
Yeah.
me that you're not financially responsible at
Or
all
established.
or established. And
And you
I
can't
think
take me nowhere because I gotta buy airline tickets.
now you
You
can't
can't
take
take
me
me nowhere.
nowhere. Points are adding up. I love to have
What?
free
You
points
ain't got
and
no
free
points, you ain't
travel.
got no Sky Miles, you ain't got
Everything,
nothing.
everything adds up. That for me is
Yeah.
a red flag.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I totally get that. I totally understand. That's crazy though, that to think that there's people walking around like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
how can people become more financially literate? Like what programs do you offer?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, first off, people don't even know what financial literacy is. Does
Yeah.
anybody know what it really means? It
No.
means it means for
Literacy means reading.
right. Absolutely. So financial literacy, it really means you taking responsibility for your own personal finances. That's what financial literacy means. So for people that want to be more savvy when it comes to money, you just got to pick up a book and really start reading. You
Right,
are responsible for your own wealth. Money
right,
options make goals happen. And how does that
right,
happen? You have to be more knowledgeable of how
right,
to use your own money. Because
right.
guess what? If I have, let's do an example. All right. So let's say I take out $20. We'll
Mhm.
just use this here. $20, right? And I put it down. If I put this $20 down, it doesn't move unless I say for it to move.
Right.
Okay. We have to give every single dollar
A
a
job. A
it's
job. Yeah, I
yeah,
know it.
just like a kid, your
Yeah,
child, you say, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. You are in charge of money. You do not
right.
let money run you. You run it. And how do you do
Yeah.
it? Every single dollar. Hey, you're going to do this today. You're going to do that today. You're going to do
Mhm.
this because you are the adult. You tell it what to do. You
Yeah.
know how to manage it because you are responsible. So, financial literacy literally means the knowledge of your own finances, structuring your life so you're not in debt. That's what financial literacy really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And how can people get this information from you?
Oh, sure. So right now I have created the financial literacy program and it's going all across the tri-state area. I've been
Mhm.
teaching it in so many different schools I've been working closely with the DOE. I have programs for kids anywhere from K or second graders. I can say second
Right.
graders to 12th grade. I've done college prep readiness and also workshops for parents. And you guys can get in touch with me through Instagram, which is at SHNEIDINEMICHEL, which is at Schneidine Michelle. And my business email is info at MMMONEYMAGNET.org. So it's info at MMMmoneyMagnet.org. Okay. I know it's a long one,
I
but
love
that's
that. I know it's long. I'm gonna make sure that I put it on social media so everybody could see it. But I really do think that you should reach out to the money magnet. Um, I got to get it right. The millennial mom money magnet, so that you can like dig deeper into your own financial situation and get support or answer questions, because sometimes you just need somebody to point you in the right direction. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? And I think that there's something to be said for that, and it matters. Um, can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media and your website?
Sure. You guys can find me at Instagram at SHNEIDINEMICHEL. It's the same for Twitter at Schneidine Michelle. And Facebook is Schneidine Michelle. And my website is www.SHNEIDINE, magnet, magnet.com, schneidinethemagnet.com.
Thank you so much, Nadine, for spending time and space with us and like giving us a little taste. It's just enough to make people kind of go to your website, check you out. You guys got to go do your own research and advocate for your financial literacy and reach out to the people that you need to reach out to learn the things that you need or ask the questions, because there's so much information out there,
Absolutely.
to support couples, to support parents, to support college students, to support kids too, right? Because they need to learn as well. Like, right, you give your kid birthday money, they need to know, like, put some in your piggy bank and some goes to the
Yeah.
mall, but you can't take all of it. So they need to, we need to like instill that from young.
Yes, absolutely. We do. And I'm here to help.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We'll get all
Thank you
your
so
information
much.
up. It's another
Okay.
episode of Say It Loud podcast. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
too.
here.
Bye bye.